For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. WFO Radio is back on the air as we get ready for the final NHRA Spring Nationals at Houston Raceway Park. We got a big show for you today. We got Paul Lee, driver of the McLeod Funny Car, also FTI Performance Transmissions, going to be rising like the Phoenix this weekend out there at the final race at Houston. Got that new crew chiefing duo just announced yesterday. We're going to speak with Paul all about it just seconds from now. And also on the show, a Houston local, two of them actually, Stan and SheilaMae Holt, going to be joining us. They're going to have 8 cars running in 5 categories at the final race out there at Houston Raceway Park. And talk a little Lucas Oil Series action as well. Super excited about that to talk racing. And if you're going to be in the area, drop what you're doing. Get out there and enjoy a little NHRA drag racing. Before we get to our guests, I got to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO. You already heard about FTI and VP Racing Fuel. Total Seal Piston Rings, Matt Hartford and the team. We got a new video about Pro Stock out. We got a new hidden horsepower out. All of it is an exercise to explain to the folks out there how important ring seal is. 40% of your engine's friction comes from your piston rings. Did you know that? And I know you did if you watch WFO Radio. So go to totalseal.com, find out more. And if you're building an engine or you are an engine builder, give them a call. Keith Jones, Lake Speed Jr., Hartford will be there to answer your call. totalseal.com. Phillips Connect on board with WFO Radio. Super excited to have these guys on. Mike and Justin Ashley, Jim Epler, such an amazing innovation. This is a technology company. Think of all the trucks that go over the road. Think of all the tires that are running down the road. They outfit sensors on these trucks, fleets, trailers to keep people safer. Frankly, to keep people safer. Go to phillips-connect.com to find out more information. This is more of an enterprise business. So if you've got a fleet or if you work with multiple tractor trailers or if you sell trucks and trailers, you need to reach out to the folks at Phillips Connect, phillips-connect.com, because they obviously appreciate drag racing. And Jim Epler has done such a great job with that team. FTI Performance Transmission. Super excited about these guys. You know, the big Spring Fling Million was just this past weekend, and it was like a showcase of FTI drivers. Really great to see, like Spencer Massey in his little Nova. Look at that thing getting down to the final round, runner up to the Rabbit, Kevin Brannon, who is an FTI driver as well, both in the final round of the Spring Fling Million, countless others along the way. And if you are a bracket racer, or if you're a weekend warrior, or if you got a high-powered car like Top Dragster, Top Sportsman, Pro Modified, or maybe even a street car, one of these 2,000 horsepower turbocharged street cars, and you're looking for the right transmission torque converter components, go to FTIperformance.com and check out more. And we already got an interview scheduled with Greg Samuel from FTI, going to tell us a little bit more about that. Super excited. And then finally, the folks at VP Racing Fuels, we've got a nice mix of hard parts, go fast stuff for the drag racing community, but VP also makes lubricants and fuel additives for you guys out there that just have got your car over the road and you want to support WFO and you want to support drag racing and all of those things. VP Racing Fuels has got a whole line. Go to their website, vpracingfuels.com. A little bit later on in the show, I'll tell you about rodaxcoffeeandgrills.com, the hot sauces and the spice rubs. I'll tell you about Frank Hawley's drag racing school, and I'll tell you about samtech.edu, with the next generation of crew members, crew chiefs, CNC programmers, machinists are coming up, getting their education and getting placed in great jobs. Places like, SpaceX, say, You'll learn more about that. But now it is time to connect with the man who is rising like the Phoenix. I don't know why I'm super excited to talk about the Phoenix. Here he is, Paul Lee, back on WFO Radio. First time since one of those happy hour shows, Paul, during the pandemic. This is better.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Joe. It's good to be here, man. Good seeing you.
Super excited to have you on the show.
A little too early for wine right now, but hey.
Is it though?
Well, it's 9 o'clock here.
Yes. So it's more of a screwdriver Bloody Mary time. We'll have to do that someday at some point. Let's talk a little bit about the program, though. You made a huge announcement yesterday, and I'm sure this was not, or maybe it was, an easy decision. Dustin Heim was brought on over at the start of the season. Dustin had some involvement in building the car that you race. And then Jason Bunker, who has been doing such a great job with Tony Gerardo's car on a part-time schedule, you have formulated a team of, like, I'm calling them young gun crew chiefs, which is something the sport absolutely needs.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling them too, young guns. So yeah, Dustin joined us at the beginning of the year. And like you said, our car that we have now is the last car that Ron Capps and Ron Tobler had together. So, and we run the Ron Tobler tune-up, the 5-disc tune-up, which only 2 teams run. So Dustin built that car, and back when they split up the team at DSR, when Ron's decided to retire a year early, he said to me, Paul, you need to buy this. You need to get this car. This is a really good car, and this is the car that we were going to run with Ron Capps as a Napa car. So I ended up getting the car, and that's the car we have now. And there's nobody out there besides Ron Tobler that knows that car better than Dustin Heim. So, Dustin took a year off, and then, he wanted to come back racing this year. And it was like, wow, it was a no-brainer for me to get him on board, because like I said, there's not too many people that know this car, our parts that we run. We run out of DSR. That's where our shop is. So we use all their facilities, all their parts, we're a satellite car from DSR. And it was like a no-brainer to bring him on board. And then when Jimmo left, so we decided to move him up to I decided to move him up, give him his shot as a crew chief. He deserves it, and he wants it. And we bought on Jason Bunker, who was highly recommended by a lot of friends of mine, to join Dustin in Indianapolis, because that's where he wanted to be. And it's great to have guys that are at the shop every day working on the car. I mean, I think that was one of the things that we were missing before is, we didn't have someone there, on a daily basis looking after the parts and massaging things and organizing the team. And I think this is going to be a good thing. And, I know when I was younger, there's people that wouldn't give me my chance of, as driver, but, these guys want their chance as a crew chief, and I'm all for giving the young guns their shot. So that's basically the summary of what I'm doing, is giving these 2 guys that are smart, hungry, giving them their shot. Let's go race.
I love that. And it's sorely needed. The words crew chief shortage have been mentioned out there over the past few months. And it makes sense, though. It's not like, I'm going to make an analogy, right? Like you give a manager of a baseball team an opportunity to manage, and the worst thing that happens is you lose some games, right? And then you can look around, you lost some games, and you realize, man, this isn't working out. And so it doesn't work out, and you part way. In your situation, thousands of dollars of equipment can be destroyed. Oops, mistake. This isn't working out. And that's why young crew chiefs don't get opportunities as often as young basketball coaches or young football coaches, because so much money worth of investment, parts, and hard work that's associated with them, all that massaging you just talked about, can go up in smoke. But at that, because of that, young guys don't get the opportunity. And then we run into a point where everybody is like this grizzled veteran, been around for 50 years.
Yeah, that's that happened to us. I mean, last year at Gainesville, not this past year, but last year at Gainesville, we just had a horrible race. We blew up everything in the trailer. I mean, literally blew up 3 motors, 2 bodies, pretty much everything in the trailer. And we had to sit out some races just to regroup. And that was with experienced guys. So, I mean, one of the things that Dustin and Jason are good at is attention to detail. So that's where we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Obviously, no one can afford that, but I believe in these guys, and I think they're going to do a good job. They're hungry and they want to do it. That's the passion that's in that's either from a driver or a crew chief or a crew guy. I look for the passion, someone who really wants to do something. That people like that's rare. Yeah, good crew chiefs are hard to come by nowadays, but also people that are hungry to be successful in the sport is also rare too. So I want to take advantage of that and see what these guys can do.
And we've got a lot of people who recognize that in you as well, saying what's up out there, like David Knapp, obviously the Knapp family doing so much up there in E-Town. Young crew chiefs, Krista Baldwin and others having vesting in the future of NHRA. Good job. I agree. Krista's out there just saying what's up. What's up, Krista? How you doing? And some of our WFO regulars, Daniel, good to see you. See you in a couple of days, says Daniel. They're all weighing in, saying what's up with Paul. That passion, though, you've got it. Not just for drag racing. And I just find it to be so interesting. And I know I say this to you all the time, and it's probably annoying, but Paul, you do so many crazy, cool things that most people, they'll do one, right? Like, I'll jump out of a plane one time. No, you were part of a skydiving, like aerobatic skydiving team. Let's form those cool deals. Like you drive a funny car. You were, I understand, a black belt in karate. Like, these all take interest, passion, but also significant commitment. You don't just do that once or twice and get it. Where does that come from for you?
I think, I was a wrestler my first competitive experiences was when I was 6-7 years old. I started wrestling. My dad was a wrestling coach at my high school. So I started out as a wrestler when I was 6 or 7 years old. And I did that all the way through until college. I was on the AAU Junior Olympic Wrestling team when I was in high school that toured Europe. And that was my first experience with being competitive. I think that's the main thing is competition. I like competition. That's what drives me is competition, whether it's in sports or even in the business world. I love competing against people that our businesses compete against. I mean, I get as much fun from competing against other businesses as I do, drag racing, or when I was a wrestler, or martial arts, skydiving, and now drag racing. Of course, drag racing has been my passion since I was 13 years old. It's another competitive outlet. I just like competition. That's what gets my blood boiling is competition, no matter what.
Well, and that's great. And, all the racers out there who are watching WFO, to do a little background research on Paul. It's like, okay, no top end dust ups with Paul Lee. Got it. Like maybe a strong word or two, but no physical confrontations with Paul Lee. But what about the drag racing part of it? Okay, you're a wrestler, your dad's a wrestling coach, and that totally makes sense, right? Those guys that I know or knew coming up, very intense, very competitive, want to get on the mat, battle it out, and you learn to struggle and win. What about the drag racing? What was the early on drag racing experiences? I know you're from out west. Where? How?
No, I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, excuse me. That was a mistake.
I grew up in New Jersey, right near Atco Dragway.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I was a young kid. I used to go with my friends. We used to go out to Atco Dragway to watch the Nitro Funny Car shows. They used to have a lot of match races back in the day, and especially at Atco Dragway. And I never missed any of them when I was a kid. So the first time I went when I was 13 years old, I went and I saw the first pair of funny cars I saw was Jungle Jim Lieberman do this long full track burnout backed up at like 80 miles an hour. I remember he was racing the Ram Chargers. I was only like 12 or 13 years old. I remember the crowd is being packed, standing room only. And they go down the track. And back then there was no wall against the drag strip. It was actually grass on either side at Atco Dragway. So I just remember Jungle Jim going off into the grass and never lifting. He just kept going. The flames were high and he's like, there's grass flying, and he goes up, gets on back on the track, and he beats the other car near the lane. That I remember that race like it was yesterday, and that hooked me for life for drag racing. It was like, that's what I want to do. I want to race and I want to drive a Nitro Funny Car. And I knew that since I saw that run when I was 12 or 13 years old at Atco Dragway in New Jersey.
Wow. That is incredible. And, don't
And
do
after
that.
that, I never missed any of the match races. I mean, all through high school, yeah, I was a wrestler and all that, and I wasn't even old enough to drive yet. But every time there was a match race at ATCO, I would get, and then of course then I started going to Englishtown for the Summer Nationals. I never missed any one of those for, I guess, almost 30 years. I never missed a Summer Nationals at Englishtown.
Wow. And we're obviously, like David is out there watching, right? Like I think about Antron, right? Another Jersey guy. My parents are from Jersey. I should have known that. And maybe I did and just didn't recall. But those crazy moments, like Antron's got his Garlits going over backwards blowover moment.
I was there. I was at that race, 1986. I remember I was at the 1,000-foot mark. I saw the whole thing. It was the most spectacular thing that I've personally ever seen at the drag strip was when Garlits did his over backwards. I was at the 1,000-foot mark, sitting in the stands.
Incredible. And we just got news the other day that Garlits has got like a top dragster license. He's ready to go 6-0s again, which is pretty crazy and also awesome at 90 years old. And
also, I was there in my first Summer Nationals was when I was a kid. Like I said, it was 1974, and in the final round, it was Jungle Jim and Al Segrini in the final, and still the most spectacular funny car race that I've ever seen was the final round at that race where Jungle Jim did a wheel stand the whole way down the track. Al Segrini, a good friend of mine now, was in the Black Magic car in the left lane, smoked the tires, stayed in it, and he ended up catching Jungle Jim at the end when Jungle had to let it down right before the finish line. So, I mean, that's still the most spectacular funny car drag race of all time, in my opinion.
Amazing. And the thing
that was the first time I ever went to the Summer Nationals too. It was unbelievable. And then the following year, 75, I went, and then that was when there was a lot of rain in and out that day. And the final was real late at night, and that was Jungle Jim's first and only national event win. He beat Tom Prock in the final. I was there then too.
Wow. Do you think, like, you obviously you got to keep that in mind, like every time you engage with a young fan, that might be happening for them also?
Well, that's my mentality. That's how I look at the young fans at the racetrack, like especially the younger kids. I remember I was that same kid standing by the ropes, watching the guys pack the chutes and work on the car and dreaming someday that I'd want to do that. So that's why I pay attention, especially to the kids. I'll bring them in the pit, get pictures next to the car, show them around when I have time. That is my mentality. Is I was one of those kids at one time, so I want to treat them, like I would have wanted to be treated when I was that age.
Well, and so many of us, like Segrini, gave me my first free swag at the track, and look what happened, right? Like the similar deal. Obviously, I'm not driving funny cars, but I'm there, and it hooks you, and hopefully. And I sometimes, push back on some of the negative people out there. Like, you don't understand. Those kids don't know anything other than what they're seeing now. And they're loving it. They're loving the cars. They're loving the experience. Maybe at one point, things were a little less restrictive or a little different, or the bodies looked a little more like the cars on the street, but not really. But those kids don't know that, man. They're smelling nitro for the very first time, and they're loving it. Why bother saying anything negative when someone's having a great experience?
Oh, man. What you can do is make a lasting impression on someone like that. I mean, that's what happened to me. I mean, actually, it's funny. Al Segrini, I ended up getting to know him, and he actually, the first time I ever worked on a car was his Super Brute car.
Oh my God.
So I actually was a part-time crew guy with Al, and that's kind of how I got my feet wet in the nitro. Was Al gave me my first shot at just doing, odds and ends. I was a kid, and he gave me I came to a couple of races and just did all the old odd jobs, like, putting the oil in the buckets and doing the gopher work. And now we're good buddies. He comes by the track all the time.
Oh, no, Segrini's one of the best. He's as cool as it gets. I'm sure as a kid, you would have loved to have been hanging out with him while he was doing all his Fabergé stuff.
Yeah, I got to be work on the Fabergé car for a few races. Yeah.
The Pontiac or the previous one? It
was the first car was, I think, was it a Horizon?
Yeah. Something those that same.
And then the Firebird, and then there was the Firebird.
Got right.
It was 1981, 82.
It wasn't the Firebird.
Matter of fact, in 1982, I have the old Diamond P video. As a matter of fact, it's sitting right over there. I got to get it made into a DVD, where the Spring Nationals at Columbus, he went to the final against the Chi-Town Hustler, right, and Frank Hawley. And I'm actually, you can see me standing behind the car on the starting line in the final.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I'm the only one that knows it's me, because I know that that's me. But if you saw me, you wouldn't know that that's me, right? So
that's great. That's great. So my stat is something very similar involving Segrini, just to exchange Al Segrini stories since we're doing it. When Beetle rolled, I was there.
Yeah.
And saw that, and very similar. Like, what is this? What is my dad bringing me to? Like, what's going on? And the crowd going wild. And, you know, the rest of the world, not that it was so boring or anything, but certainly it wasn't 50 million channels of streaming television and guys with wingsuits flying out of planes and stuff like it. That was the most spectacular thing that I had seen. Guy rolls,
spectacular,
hits the wall. He goes like this. The crowd.
And then he makes it through the finish line, and he got a time. That was the thing. He got an ET.
He got an ET. So your passion unquestioned, drag racing, but now you're here. And I remember, you know, years making some runs, running an alcohol car, making some runs, getting the license, getting to the point. Now you've made a massive investment, and here you are, you want to compete, and you've just made some big changes. Let's show everybody the body, which I think is cool. Talk a little bit about the Phoenix and what it means and what you're trying to do with this car. Because just being here is no longer good enough for a guy as competitive as you. You want to get round wins. You want to win some races.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the sport a long time. I've been, you know, I started driving alcohol funny car. I've been drag racing since I was 17 years old, and used to steal my mom's car and take it to the track, and she didn't know it. That's how I started. But I mean, I started driving alcohol funny cars back in 1988. So I've been doing this a long time, and I paid my dues. You know, I've driven cars just to be drag racing for a long time, you know, and, you know, but I'm way past that. I mean, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it to win. We want to win. I mean, as much as I can afford to, you know, push the car as hard as it can be. I mean, I'm willing to do that as much as I can afford, but I won't risk my business to do it. But obviously we're fortunate now. We have some good, successful businesses. We have some great loyal customers that's allowed us to go out and do this and promote our companies with this funny car. The Phoenix is, you know, we're starting again. We're hitting reset. I think I saw somewhere as reset. And the Phoenix is, it's what it means is, if you look it up, it's a new beginning, a rise from the ashes with renewed youth. That's what the Phoenix, if you look up in the dictionary, that's what Phoenix stands for. So we have the big Phoenix on the hood. We got a new wrap on the car. It's all matte colors. It's just something different change. It's all matte colors, and we have new starting line shirts and new crew chiefs. We have some new crew guys on the team that replace some of the ones we had before. So we're hitting a reset, and this is the beginning of our 2022 season. I'm pretty excited about all of it. The new wrap, the new guys, the new crew guys, and going to Houston for the last race. Houston's a good track. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it is, and it's going to be packed. Like it's going to be, there's no such thing as uncomfortable packed at a drag race. Yeah. But everybody that's ever been there, we had a guy yesterday on our chat section say he's flying down from Alaska to be at this race. This is his first drag race was at Houston Raceway Park, and he is coming down, him and his dad, from Alaska. He can't be the only one who's flying in to be a part of this. There's, you know, a slight rumor that maybe something might happen that might save it for another year, but I'm treating this like it's the last, just in case. I would never like miss my opportunity to go to the final one. And it sounds like everybody agrees, because it's nearly a 3-day sellout, right? Not that they're going to be turning anybody away, let's be honest, but like, sorry, we're not taking your money. We'll find a place for you to stand. But this one is meaningful. These are the kind of races that racers want to put their mark on.
Yeah, I mean, Houston's always been a fun place to race. I've been racing there. I think my first race was 2006 in Nitro Funny Car, and we have a lot of friends in the Houston area. I have a lot of friends that live in the area, so they come out and hang out with us like they are going to this weekend. We have our hospitality set up for basically this week, just you know, friends and family. We have a lot of friends and family in the Houston area. I actually have relatives in Houston. some distant relatives, actually. My grandfather and my grandmother were from Texas. My grandfather worked at Texaco, Texas Oil Company, and then he ended up getting promoted to a new facility in Philadelphia, New Jersey area. So that's where I actually, when I was born in New Jersey, but I have relatives from Houston area. I have a lot of descendants from Houston. Actually, my grandfather was a Texas Ranger before he worked for Texaco.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty
Texas
cool.
and New Jersey. Let me tell you, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of attitude, a lot of swag, both states, right?
Yeah.
Like Jersey people are proud of Jersey. The rest of the country maybe doesn't have the right understanding of what's going on over there in Jersey. But Jersey people are proud, right? Because they're in the shadow of the big city. And Texas people, we don't even need to say. They are very
Yeah, I think that Texas blood has stayed with me.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, you are a new lease on life. Had something go down a couple of years ago that you might not be here, right? But you are.
Yeah,
and
2016, right after the PRI show. We had just finished 2 races with Colletta Motorsports. I joined Colletta Motorsports as a third funny car, and it was pretty exciting. We went the last 2 races. We did really well. So we were looking forward to a great 2017, but I mean, unbeknownst to me, I had heart disease, hereditary heart disease. And literally a day after I returned home to California, I live in California now, from the PRI show, I had and luckily for me, my girlfriend at the time was with me and called 911 because I literally had a massive heart failure. And if it wasn't for the fact that she was there and called 911, and the other real lucky fact that the EMT center is across the street from where I live.
Wow.
And they were at my house in literally 4 minutes and basically saved my life. So I was pretty lucky that, I was home when I had my heart attack. So it took me, obviously I couldn't, drag racing was the least of my, worrying that I couldn't race anymore. That was the least of it. I was just lucky to be alive, and started just rehabbing just so I could live a long, healthy life. And then I guess after about 1.5 years, the doctor said my heart was getting much, much better. And make a long story short, he basically approved me to go race again. I had to do a lot of things to prove that my heart could take it, like go make some runs in the car. We tested the car with the magnetos because I had a defibrillator at the time, which I don't have anymore. But, there was a lot of things that we had to do before I was approved to drag race again. There's actually a 10-minute documentary on the story on WebMD. WebMD made a 10-minute documentary. So you can go on WebMD and watch it. It's a 10-minute short film about my recovery, and it's called The Green Light. And a lot of it was filmed at the Texas Motorplex when I first started back racing again.
Awesome. Is that something that, I hope I never have this experience, right? But do you think of that every single day? Is that something like, oh my gosh, when you open your eyes in the morning, like, wow, the sun, the sunset, the air, like, seeing your friends, do you carry with that experience like all the time?
Yep. Every day when I wake up, I'm like thankful that I'm like, hey, it's another day. Believe me, I do. I'm very, very grateful and thankful that I'm still here. So I work hard at it every day. I still work out, exercise, which really does keep my heart getting better. Because from the heart attack, I have dead tissue. And what the doctors explained to me is when you exercise and, do cardio and lift weights, things like that, it strengthens the other part of your heart that is alive. So it's making up for the dead tissue. So the more you exercise and work out to a certain point, it is strengthens your heart, which makes me healthier and makes me, keeps up my ability to be able to drive a nitro funny car.
Awesome. No, well, that's great. And obviously we're happy that you it's a lesson to everyone, right? Like a lesson to everyone. Try to be as healthy as you can, appreciate every day. You never know when it's going to end. All right, let's talk some nuts and bolts real quick. The 5-disc clutch, right? Tobler 5-disc, JC 5-disc over there with Cruz. John Collins he's proving that you can run a 5-disc. Jason Bunker has got experience with a 6-disc. So that's probably good for you. At some point, are you locked into the 5-disc forever, or are you running it now? What's your thought on that?
Well, when we started this deal with DSR, Don, when first, Jimmo and I we went to Don and said, we want to do this with you. And we want to work under the DSR umbrella. He gave us the option. He said, okay, do you want to run who do you want to work with? And he was basically asking Jimmo, what crew chief do you want to work with here? And he said, you can work with Ron or you could work with Dickie, right? 2 different tune-ups, right?
Yep.
And so Jimmo asked me, he goes, what do you prefer? I said, I prefer the 6-disc. It's easier car to drive because the 5-disc car is a handful to drive. It's wanting to lock up the clutch. It's wanting to pick the front end up. It's wanting to dart all over the track, where the 6-disc is a lot smoother. You have another disc and another floater to absorb that heat. And the RPMs just stay kind of consistent with the 6-disc. So, and I've driven the 6-disc cars with Coletta's and with Del Wersham's car, and I liked it. And so I said, if it's up to me, I'd rather have a 6-disc. And he said, well, me and Ron Tobler go way back. I mean, I'm friends with both Dickie and Ron, but me and Ron go back 30 some years. I have a good relationship with him. So, and he has a good tune-up. The 5-disc tune-up is good. It doesn't hurt parts. You don't have to run the engine as hard. You can still run fast. I said, that's fine. It's up to you. You make the decision. So we chose to go down to that road with the Tobler tune-up and working with Ron. And it worked out great for the first 2 years. Ron gave us the tune-up, all the parts, the clutch parts, everything, that it took. I mean, it was basically an identical car to Tobler's Ron Cap's car. And we did good with it. We ran good. We ran 333, 334. We ran a lot of runs over 330 mile an hour. So it proves that it does work, and it didn't hurt parts, which is affordable for me since I don't have a big corporate sponsor. I pay for it myself. So it was an affordable program, and we did pretty good with it. But last year we just got lost, and we just got off the tune-up, and we just couldn't get down the track. And we were questioning, like, do we want to go to the 6-disc? And well, I mean, JC's still making it work. Look at he's right there competing for the championship. So we know that tune-up can still be viable, and he doesn't kill parts. And so I kind of want to stay with it, for now. I mean, I've invested in it. Okay. It's been since 4 years now that we have this, program that we've invested in. We have a lot of information, and we have a lot of good runs on it, but we just got lost last year. And this year we were still lost, and I had to do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expect different results, right?
Right.
And that's what we were doing. We were just doing the same thing, and we couldn't get down the track. So I have to go a different direction. I mean, I'm not 30 years old anymore. How many more years I have to do this? I want to, at least the years that I do it, I want to try to win. I want to do good. So, and we have sponsors that want to join us, and we got to give them something to root for. So the answer to your question is, right now, we are sticking with the 5-disc, and that's what Dustin knows. And we have Jason, has the 6-disc experience. So we'll see how it goes with them. I mean, as far as, I'm relying on, Dustin's experience with the 5-disc. That's what he wants to run. So I'm going to let him run what he wants to run. One thing about, the crew chiefs, you got to pretty much let them do what they want to do. I don't really have any decision on tune-ups. I'm not a crew chief. I let them do their job. And it's no different than a business here. If I have someone that's in accounting, I know they're good at it, I'll let them do their jobs. To me, being a manager is hiring the right people and letting them do their jobs and not micromanage them. And that's what I'm doing.
Well, exciting. No, these are the 2 guys right here, and it's going to be great. I know Dustin fairly well. I've hung out with Dustin a lot, and Jason, in his my brief interactions with him, similar deal. He carries himself like a veteran. And he is, by the way, nostalgia. He has done a lot of things over the years. He's drag racing for life. And so I'm very excited for you. And I also want to let everybody know, obviously, they see the FTI performance on your shirt. Thank you for supporting WFO Radio and what we're trying to do to, showcase some of the people behind the scenes in the sport of drag racing. We got Stan and Sheila coming up next, Lucas Oil Series racers. And what you do for us, I appreciate it. Is there anybody, is there anything else? Well, thank you for Paul. I appreciate it. And is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to cover before we part ways and you go get ready to try to win this final race at Houston Raceway Park?
Not really. I mean, I think we covered everything. I mean, I'm just excited to go to Houston. I know everybody says they're excited to go to the next race, but I really am, because it's a new beginning. It's like the beginning of our 2022 season. And then we're going to do something that I haven't done in a while, is go to the 4-wide in Charlotte the following week.
Yes.
I actually raced at the very first 4-wide when I drove for Jim Dunn back in 2010. So, I mean, I've done the 4-wide before. Not a big fan, but if the fans like it, I'm willing to do it. So we're going to go to the 4-wide in Charlotte. So the next 2 races, these next 2 weeks are going to be fun.
And Krista's going to be there also, yes?
Krista's going to Charlotte, yes.
Yeah, see, exactly. How about that? Dish on Krista a little bit. She's beloved, the energy, works behind the scenes tirelessly for you. And when she gets those opportunities, she is like a ray of sunshine in the field of Top Fuel. I think people are going to continue to appreciate her. What's she like to work with?
Oh, I mean, a lot of people don't realize she has like multiple jobs. She's awesome. She's been with since she graduated college. She's been with our company, and she's been with our growth from just McLeod to now FTI, and now FTI and Silver Sport. She's been there as the creative director since day one, and also, Top Fuel driver. She's also the manager of my race team at DSR. So her daily routine is being at the shop at DSR, managing the race team, my race team, managing her race team, and also doing her creative director jobs for the Wharton Automotive Group, which is all of our 3 companies. So she spends a lot of time doing that, and then she helps with the hospitality and the management of the team. But when she goes to race, and like in Charlotte, I tell her, just go concentrate on your race team, go have fun. So, but when the other races at Houston, like she'll be here this weekend managing the race team. That's her, so she has multiple jobs, multiple hats, and she does a great job. And she has her own business, Composite Specialties, too. So, we talk about me doing a lot of things. She's the same way. She's kind of like, she's kind of like taking after me, of taking on all these roles, and has a lot of irons in the fire with everything. So she does a great job.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing what she does.
She does a great job promoting the companies too, McLeod and FTI and Silver Sport, and besides her own, team with her grandpa.
Well, absolutely. And there's hopefully will be a time where, and with you, it's practically here, right? Like, full seasons, run for race wins and championships. She's going to get to that point also, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's the future. Yeah, she's the future of our race team. We want to have multiple cars, eventually. Funny car. I mean, someday I won't drive. I'll have a driver. I will always be involved in the sport, but I'm going to drive as long as I still have fun at it and drive. And then, we have a Top Fuel dragster, and maybe we might have more than, maybe we'll have 2 funny cars and 2 dragsters someday. You never know.
Drag racing for life, all because of ACTO and Jungle Jim, and you're not
pretty much.
Pretty much, right? And so every racer out there should remember that every time they engage with a little person out at the track beginning this weekend, you are replenishing the energy of our sport, and if they fall in love with it half as much as you did, we'll be in good shape. Paul, thank you very much. Good luck this weekend. I will see you at the track. Rise like the Phoenix, my friend. Go get it.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Good to see you, and keep up the good work there.
Thank you, sir. WFO. Appreciate it. There, WFO. That's exactly right. There he goes. Paul Lee with us here on WFO Radio. How great is that? And this guy's got a law degree. He's jumping out of planes. He's got a whole bunch of great stuff going on. But honestly, like, the most extreme of all of those things is accelerating from 0 to 330 miles per hour in less than 4 seconds. Like, people don't understand exactly what's going on. And yeah, maybe he's not going off into the grass like Jungle Jim, but the cars are obviously safer and more reliable these days, but they're accelerating so much quicker. All right, our next guests, Stan and Sheila Holt, coming up in just a second. But first, I want to make sure everybody knows about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like Marvin Rodak. This guy's from Fort Worth, Texas. Coffee, hot sauce, spice rub from all around the world, roasted fresh per your order. And Marvin just does a great job. So if you call him right now and order 817-924-6821, he'll figure out what you want. He'll help you. Maybe you want the WFO Radio blend, or you want one of his other blends, who knows, but he'll go roast it right now. And when it gets to you in a couple of days, it's going to be like the freshest coffee you've ever had. which is amazing. Call Marvin, 817-924-6821. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. We talk about Frank and Lana all the time. They have created an experience for the person who ends up loving drag racing from the grandstands to, in an affordable way, drive a dragster. It's called the Dragster Adventure. Courses start at $399. That's a half day with Frank Hawley. They go around the country. You get in the car, you bring nothing. They set you up with everything, and you walk away as an experienced driver with a very unique experience in a dragster. Go to frankhawley.com to find out more. And home of Sam Tech down there in the Houston area, Judson Massengill. Like, man, I need a machinist. I can't find anybody. And Linda Massengill's like, we should start a school. The rest is history. And they have now started a school that so many go to. You walk through the pits, go by the stand fields, ask about them. A lot of their grads helping out teams, programming CNC, tuning EFI cars because of samtech.edu. Brian Massengill will be at the racetrack. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. All right, let's go out to our next guest. Speaking of Houston, Texas, they are going to be campaigning. What is it? 8 cars in 5 categories this weekend, trying to win a Wally or 2 or several from the final Spring Nationals out there at Houston Raceway Park. Stan and Sheila Holt. What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome to WFO.
We're good, Joe. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. You got to hang out. Oh, you got a little doggy. Oh, that's it. Never knew.
We're excited about this weekend.
I'm sure you are. Okay, what's the dog's name? Everybody wants to know.
Hefe.
Hefe, like the boss?
Yes.
He's the boss.
He's the boss.
Boss dog.
I like it. I like it. All right, the chick with the stick, and obviously Stan restaurateur, Lupe Tortilla. I was fortunate enough to be able to experience the whole Lupe experience this past off season, but that is how you fund this. And you are a drag racing nut. You just heard from Paul Lee. You're doing it in a Lucas Oil Series, a little different, with many cars, many categories. How do you guys manage it all? That's a lot.
Well, we each have our own job. Stan makes all the money and cleans the cars. And let's see, I'm apparently in the hospitality business. I do fuel and air in all the tires. And then J-Rod tunes all the cars. And
does all the clutch work. In fact, you can't hear in the background, but they're downstairs. I hear air wrenches running and the engine's firing up and clutches being tested and grinded, and it's just a real busy time. So we're leaving in the morning. We're almost ready.
Exactly. This being the final race, my original track, Miami Hollywood Speedway, where that tree back there is from, where I went from, a young boy in the late 1970s to 1992 when it closed. The day that it closed until right now, heartbroken. To this day. And that's why when Palm Beach is fighting to stay alive and go make a speech in front of a commissioner or something, I'm willing to do it. This has got to be gutting for you guys to lose a national event track. Like, that's the thing. You have a national event there. You got NHRA divisional points races. You got so much invested. What is this experience like for you?
Well, it was really nice having the track only 45 minutes from our house. And, I've been going to the track for 25 years with my son, Chase Murray. He grew up, racing since he was 8. So it's a part of his life. It's a part of his history. And for it to just be gone now, I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking. And I know Stan's been going out there longer than Chase and I have. But it's just really sad to see it go away. It's a wonderful facility. It's one of the nicer ones that we race at. And just really sad.
It's going to be a gap. It's like, I really can't quite get my head around it, that it's going to be gone.
Right.
I was there during the wonderful years where we had 2 national events in Dallas, 2 national events in Houston, 4 points races. I mean, we could race that many races and be 4 hours from the house, never be that far away. And I don't know. It's just going to be what's going to happen, where are we going to go? So we kind of cut back our travel schedule this year so far. I'm not promising we're not going to get back out there on the road again. We covered a lot of territory last year, and it's exhausting. And then trying to run a business from your cell phone. And anyway, so we're uncertain about the next race after Houston. I know there's a double points race coming up in Dallas that Sheila and I sadly have to miss, but we have family obligations that have to come first. So that's going to be a tough one to miss. I look forward to that race.
Oh, wow. Well, let's, what is it? There's a million cliches and sayings about not looking beyond today, right? So let's look at this weekend as living for today and have a great time. You got a lot of fans out there weighing in, like Chase, love my mama. Chase is out there watching. Jolie Stanfield is going to bring little Oakley Sheila tequila. You guys, Walt Walker is out there. Love Stan and Sheila. Everyone is out there weighing in, which is great. It's not just about the racing for you guys. It's more than that. You make sure to have fun.
Oh my gosh. That's the best part.
Fun's first.
Yeah. That's the best part of it for me. I mean, like, as soon as my car's rolled out of the trailer, out comes the margarita machine, out comes the food, out comes this, out comes that. It's so much more than racing. It's a part of our social life. And we've made so many friends and along the way, like Mike and Paula Cotton, they're coming all the way from Arizona to be here at this race. And by the way, Mike just won the double in Vegas.
Yes.
Whoop, whoop. And I mean, like the McMahons are coming in from Florida to race. I mean, it's just.
And not to be premature, but we're really excited and proud to say that Kevin Helms is going to drive one of our super stock cars this week.
There it is. Break the news, baby. Break the news, Stan. Yeah. Kevin Helms. This guy's, he's pretty good. He's won a whole bunch of world championships.
Yeah, I'd say he's pretty good. He called Jared. He said, Jared, would you know somebody have an extra car that I could maybe drive for the weekend? And he goes, well, I think my super stock car is available. He went, oh my gosh. I didn't expect one of the top cars in the country. I was just expecting the cars. Oh my gosh. So he's going to enjoy the heck out of that car. Jared's run a 920 in it before. And it's, it's just a unique super stock car. And we're really excited to have Kevin with us in the pit.
No, that's a big, it's gonna be, and
so excited about this whole weekend.
Yeah. And again, bittersweet, right? But we're going to focus on the sweet part of it. But Kevin Helms, exactly. But 8 cars, though, guys, going to be busy. And you guys got to think for clutches. What's up with that? Here's you and Jared, right? There's Sheila, the name, the chick with the stick. Reinhart gave you that name. You told us about that on an Attention in the Pits episode a couple of years back where we first met each other. I don't think you're against automatics, but if you're going to race, you want to have max fun, and that means there's a clutch.
Yeah.
I'm against automatic.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know any difference. Like that's what I started on. So I would not know what to do if I drove an automatic. So, I mean, it's just in my blood. And, honestly, you don't need to know anything about
it. Stan is against automatics. So that's easy. He's against it. That's fine.
I mean, it's just so much fun. Just pulling those gears, going down the track, and it's exhilarating. It really is.
I got to get this in there talking about fun. Joey at RC will lean in the window and pray with Sheila before she goes, and he gets finished. And I go, by the way, Sheila, don't forget to have fun. Okay.
Yeah, that's not really a worry, I don't think.
And she does.
Yeah.
When she goes around, I'm telling you, NHRA fastens their seatbelts when she crosses the scales. They said, no one is excited as you when you went away. So go around.
So we were in Dallas last year, and I was having a really good day. And I went to the final round against my buddy Parker DeVore. And every single round, I mean, I was just nailing the tree. And it was just my day. So I wore all the guys out in the lanes. I'm like, dude, it's my day. So just back off. Today is my day. And every time I would see my wind light come on and I'd go to turn off the end of the track, I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs because I'm just so happy. It's just so fun.
They can hear her at the scales when she turns off. I said, oh, Sheila must have won.
And one of the NHRA guys came over and found me. And this was like at 11 o'clock at night when we finished that Dallas double. And he said, I have never heard anyone so excited, much less when they win, but when they lost too. I was like, dude, it was my first final round. Of course I'm going to be excited, It's just so much fun. But if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? Right, Joe?
Right. That's my motto for everything. If you're not having fun, why am I doing it? And that includes work. Right. Like it includes work. Like even the work that I do, it's like, man, it really that needs to be something that's rewarding and fun and entertaining and different where I, get something. And obviously you guys feel the same way. All right. There's some questions from some listeners out there. Like Mike out there wants to know, tell us about the car that Helms is going to drive.
He's going to drive Jared's Superstock F car. And it's a 4-speed Liberty, 350 horse, 327. Probably set it up to run mid-9s. It's a fabulous race car. That car was born a race car. It was just a thoroughbred. And
great wheel stands too.
Yeah, well, we try to control that. But Jared likes wheel stands, I think, better than going fast.
So do I.
So does she.
Yeah.
But he's going to get into a really good car. Back to clutches for a moment. Jared has just finished going through all the clutches and all the cars and the backup clutches, and he can pull a Liberty out of the car, get it out of the car, find the problem, replace the gear, back in the car in under an hour. It's just, we actually just sold it an extra transmission, so we don't need it.
Wow.
So I've got all the parts to give up.
Let's
he had a great relationship with me. And it's couldn't do it without Jared.
Well, Jared, let's talk about him. Okay. Couldn't do it without Jared, like a dedicated, like Sheila said, right? Like, she, just hospitality and fun. Stan brings the money. Jared's the car guy, right? Like you got to have that guy, and he runs comp, and he is as diehard a racer like throughout the country. He's one of those guys that can do anything, fix anything, and also an excellent driver.
Absolutely. He can fix anything.
I watched Jared in a final round break a spring in Dallas.
Yeah.
He heard it from inside the car with his helmet on because he was running late, backed up, changed the spring, and went up and made the round. I was just like, I'd have been nuts, but he's just done it so long and so often. He knows what to do. And we just couldn't do it without Jared.
Yeah. Jared Grenier. Amazing stuff. So you're heading out to the track tomorrow, all these different categories. Sheila, what are you got? Like, let's hear the order of operations. Who's doing what?
So I'll be racing stock, my 66 Chevy, and we have 3 of them. They're all 3 stick shifts, but I'll run stock. Stan, Kevin Helms, and J-Rod's son, Bryce, they're all going to run super stock. My son, Chase, is going to run super comp, and so is Jared's son, Bryce. Chase is going to run top dragster, which I think that one is one of the pictures you just showed. It was his top dragster. Mm-hmm. That's actually at the Houston O'Reilly Spring Nationals. And then J-Rod's going to run comp. So Friday won't be too bad. Saturday, it's going to be a long day. And Sunday's going to be even longer because I'm hoping we have 5 Wallies in our trailer on Sunday night.
Wow.
You can. You couldn't handle that. If that happened, could you handle it? I don't know.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. How wonderful would that be to go out like that? That
would be shocking development, and the party would last a considerable amount of time, I would imagine.
For a week.
Definitely.
Well, I just want to say this. I want to be like my number 1 racer.
Oh, there we go. World champion, Jerry Emmons.
Shout out to who I am represented by, Jerry Emmons, who's number 1 in the world. That's who represents me in my stock class, right?
Yes. Well, Jerry.
Who doesn't want to be like Jerry?
I can't think of anyone. Like, come on. Right? And he's got brothers that are just like him. It's kind of cool. We haven't seen them yet this year, right? They've been working. I've been texting with Jerry, like auctions working, like nose to the grindstone right now. But this one, they're going to put their mark on. And Houston, so many great racers from that area. Again, not to go to where we are ultimately going to end up being, but someone's got to build a big track in that area. There's just too much demand, too many racers.
Yeah, you're right.
I keep trying to talk Stan into it, but he's like, no.
Stan's also very smart. Stan is a very smart person. We got to figure out. Let's see. Chevy 2 for the win. Look at this. Real nice people. I was in Super J Automatic 65 Chevy 2. Yeah, the Chevy 2. You know, Nikki, who does our social media, like that's her favorite car. She's like, okay, what's that? Chevy 2. Yeah. Like she just loves the boxiness of it. It's a very unique car. Why that car, guys? Like why instead of like a mix, right? No, you got the market cornered on Chevy 2s.
I just always like that body style, and I like the little coupe better than the Super Sport. And so Sheila's car was a street rod, and I made it a bracket car, and back in '92, and then got hooked again. And I said, I'm going to go stock racing, and all my stock buddies go, you know not what you say. Right. I could run the index in the morning, not so much at lunchtime. And those were interesting years. And I remember when I put the stick in it, there were so many F-stock automatic cars. You had a 1 out of 4 chance of getting a heads-up race. And I said, I wasn't that fast. I'm worn out with it. I'm going to put a stick in it. Excuse me. And I remember a couple of races, it was a struggle. And the Jerichos and Dale Hocus said, "Bud, you need to get that stick out of there." I said, I've decided I am. He said, "Really, when?" I said, "Right after my sex change operation." So obviously neither has happened. It's just gotten worse, and we are just in love with driving those stick cars, and it's a passion of ours. I didn't get, when I was talking about Jared, I left something really important out. He is an amazing driver too. I mean, he'll get in a car on fire and drive it, and I don't want to leave that out because he is an amazing driver. And I remember we were in Topeka. I guess it was a divisional.
He won.
And he won the divisional. A couple of weeks later, I get a picture of the check. He goes, "Glad we don't do this for a living."
No, he is. And he's right in the middle of a bunch of stuff. I've got some staging lanes stories that involved, Jared, just like making things happen, talking to people, helping people. Also, that community. But Chase has got his mind on the important stuff. What flavor margaritas do we get to enjoy this weekend? Team Lupe Tortilla, says Chase. Good question.
So we're going to have strawberry margaritas and probably pina coladas. That seems to be the favorite.
Well, wait a minute, Chase. You know better than that. It's whatever flavor you want, and then.
True. Chase, what flavor do you want? And I'll have it for you.
Chase, what flavor do you want, bud? Like, now's the time, right in front of the whole world. Jeff says Nova's rule. He's got a Super Comp Nova. It's slammed on the ground out there in Colorado. We'll wait for Chase to respond as he thinks. He's going to calculate. Don't make a mistake here, Chase. Right? There's a possibility I might swing by over there, and we'll put it to the test, which I have, by the way. You guys invited me out to Lupe this past holiday season, and it was really amazing. For people going to the area, they should definitely try it out. But there's one that's like the original. That was a really interesting experience. That you started from there's like a house, right, Stan? Like it was just one house.
Yeah, it was a house, a little house that you were sitting on the patio of now. Patios weren't there. It had 50 seats and a 25 by 25 foot kitchen, and it was me and 2 other people that were the cooks in that kitchen in 1983. And I was in the kitchen until 96 when we opened the second restaurant, and I got freed. So over the years, I've developed a really great staff who stayed with me for a long, long time. And shout out to those folks because they make it possible.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
for us
amazing.
To go to the track.
Well, seeing that whole arc, right? Like it's not only is motivational, but you got to work, man. You got to work hard for what you want. And you said it, like, you were in the kitchen, like you look back at that and I'm sure you feel accomplishment, but you said you got freed. And anyone that has worked in a kitchen, and I haven't, that's tough. That's tough stuff.
Hot back there. I always loved what I did. I got tired, but I never dreaded going to work. I'm like, I got to go to work. It was because we were so passionate about it. I loved what we were doing. It was successful right out of the gate, and has just grown and grown. We just opened restaurant number 30 last week, and my boys did. And so it's continuing to grow. They're headed for Florida.
Well, yes, I can't wait. Northern Florida, probably, but hopefully we get you in South Florida at some point. All right. So now David Knapp, from E-Town fame, says there should be a fan vote for the margaritas. Chase acknowledging, Golden Child. Kelly
Yes.
Kelly McMahon says mango. And so things are going. Walt Walker says, I'll be the 9th Lupe Tortilla car, the stepchild. Walt is out there.
By the way, if anybody knows Walt, I mean, he helps everyone out.
Yes,
but he
including
especially
me.
helps me out because every time I go to the lanes or I go to the starting line, he is normally there helping me through my burnout and bringing me up to the line. And I just love Walt. He's
part of the family.
He is, and he just helps everybody out. I mean, he even helped Bruno Massel when he won the championship. So that was
I
pretty
kind of
cool.
think he was the reason.
I do
Yeah.
too. I mean, I think he needs a raise.
Yeah.
Maybe I should call.
Definitely. Bruno is getting ready for
His car needs a Loopy sticker. I think that's what it needs.
that's definitely. No, Walt helps me out. Walt is one of those like underground characters that, maybe like regular fans don't know, but Walt is and Walt's dad is driving now. And that's cool too. There's a bunch of, there's a bunch of good stuff going on out there. And that's what this sport is all about. All right, guys, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to throw out there on the table for the WFO universe before we go racing this weekend?
One thing I just want to announce, we have a new car coming out. Supposed to have it in the fall. And Jerry Haas is building an AFX car for us.
All right. That's it. That's what AFX is all about. Listen, everybody, factory experiment. Well, it's FX. Who's driving that, Stan?
I wonder.
Yeah.
Jared Granier's driving it.
He's the only one brave enough to do it.
That's why we're getting that comp car going so fast. That's going to help pay for it. Somebody needs to buy that.
But that's
we'll see.
That's the purpose of the category, though. Everybody is so excited about the body styles, the power plants. I'm not putting you on the spot for who's building your engines unless you want to volunteer that. That's up to you. But
I'll tell you, I'll give you their initials. Their initials are Stanfield.
Okay.
Who Aaron builds my motors in my stalker, and that thing is flying faster than it's ever gone.
Yeah,
just saying.
Well, the kid is amazing, and Joe Lee is on there. And
oh, he is.
He's bringing Oakley to the track for the first time, and but the thing is about Greg Stanfield. This guy's unbeatable now in super stock. What's going on with that? Like this guy, yeah. I guess I'll come out of retirement and show the kid what's up.
Amazing.
He doesn't lose.
I know, right? I mean, no matter what you throw him in, he's always a champion.
He's so cool about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't maintain my composure if I wasn't like that.
Me either.
I'd probably be arrogant.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would definitely.
I have to tell you, Joe, I really enjoyed when you did the finish line interviews, like in Pomona, when you did it and you caught Jerry Emmons and just being down there getting like raw reaction from the racers. It's great. I mean, some of them weren't very happy when they lost, but I mean, I thought it was great.
Thank you.
I mean, that's what you want, raw emotion.
Well,
right?
exactly. And thank you, Sheila, for we try hard to be experimental and most importantly, showcase this, to get in the car with a Lucas Oil Series racer who is just as valuable to the NHRA as anybody else. The nitro guys, the pro stock guys, it's all kind of the same thing. Look, you guys, from stock, super stock, comp, factory X, right? There's a ladder there. And I've been in the car and I've been devastated to go 001 red, which we showcased one of those at Gainesville. And I've been happy, like you described, Sheila. And so we call that designated. And it's like a couple of the first three designated pair in stock this weekend. Super Street's on the track. So I don't know what we're going to do exactly, whether we're going to limit it to stock or we're going to showcase maybe a Super Street racer. We don't know exactly. But thank you for saying that, because hopefully the Lucas Oil Series racers and community know that they've got a lot of friends that are trying real hard to showcase what's going on. It's just, we're limited by time, ability, being in two places at once. We got to hustle from the starting line down to the finish line, who's available, etc. But thank you for saying that, because I think they're great too. And really, I'm just trying to entertain myself. And so, like, what would be cool to see the thrill of victory?
You're very entertaining.
The agony of defeat. All right, people are now asking, Stan, what manufacturer will the FX car be? Since you mentioned See, now the Stanfields are branching out into Fords too, so it's not a foregone conclusion that it's a Chevy. What do you know that? You're a Chevy guy. You got to be a Chevy guy.
It's a Chevy. It's under production. I mean, it's being built as we speak. And you asked me who was driving it, and I made a joke. Jared's going to drive it.
Right.
Did I say
Yeah,
that? Okay, I want to make sure.
But
I
it'll
don't
be,
want to lose a driver because of an interview, you know.
but it'll be a Camaro.
It'll be a Camaro.
It'll be a Camaro. Yeah, you're a Chevy guy. Like every car you've got is a Chevy.
Well, except for some of
I
his
just don't like
classics.
foreign cars, you know. Fords and Chryslers.
Exactly. Walt says you're bringing Kevin in to stop Greg. Ooh, that
Ooh.
could be a big battle.
Ooh, I didn't say that. Walt made that up.
No.
Even though I was
Walt.
thinking it.
No.
Walt Walker,
I didn't know he knew that.
stirring the pot, guys.
No.
Stirring the pot.
All right. No,
Walt?
I think Greg would embrace that.
Maybe. Wouldn't that be great if that turned out to be a final round or something?
Oh my gosh. Can
Hey,
you
hey,
imagine?
what about me?
Mm.
Well, yeah, exactly. What about
Have to go to the full line?
that is true. Mike says, what is the name of the restaurants? My relatives owned a Mexican restaurant in Los Angeles. Mike wants to go. Name the restaurant. It's right on their shirt. Mike, look at the shirt.
Lupe Tortillas.
Lupe Tortilla.
It may be backwards on camera. I don't know.
No, it's not. This one is accurate. Maybe it's backwards when they
good.
watch it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
People are wondering about Factory X. Billy is out there. Billy is a legacy drag racer. The Factory X cars. What ET are they expected to run? I hear in the 6s, like right away. Like maybe they might start out 7.0s and be right into the 6s real quick. What do you think, Stan?
Right into the 6s at 200. That's what I think.
That's going to be awesome. Those are going to be awesome because of the Liberty, right? That blower motor with the Liberty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a driver class. So I'm telling you, those cars are going to be pretty much, well, they are going to be created equal. It's about the driver. That's going to be exciting about the sport to me. And it's going to be like it was when I was a kid in the 60s going to the drag race. It's going to be about Ford and Chevy and Chrysler. And, you know, I mean, when I was a kid and a Ford was racing a Chevy, the Ford guys would stand up, the Chevy guys would stand up, and it was a hoot, you know. And that's kind of faded away. I think this could possibly bring it back because I remember rooting on, not rooting for him because he lived down the street from me. Gas Ronda, you know, drove an AFX car, and that filled a stand back in the days.
Well, let's hope.
I'm excited about it.
I am too. I hope, you know, I love pro stock as it is though. So I hope it's in addition and not in lieu of, which Greg Anderson told us the other day that's what he understands. It will be in addition, not in lieu of. We'll see. We shall see. Stan and Sheila, thank you so much for joining us. Stan was like a bonus today, Sheila. You know, I expected he'd be at the track getting ready and I could get you on the show. And now we got both of you together.
He has people. He has people.
He's got people for that. Yeah. Hefe right there.
Yeah.
Runs the whole show.
Hey, thanks for having us. We always enjoy it. We enjoy it just watching, not just.
I see Sheila out there.
Thanks for all you do for.
No, thank you, Stan. Thank you, Sheila. And I'll come find you guys in the
You
pit.
should talk to Sheila about sponsorship.
What's that?
You should talk to Sheila about sponsorship.
Yeah, or a margarita.
Yeah,
One or the other. One or the other.
I got you.
Thank you.
I got
Thank you. And I think everybody said, by the way, I missed it. But mango is what everybody was saying. I don't know whether it was Chase who said mango, but you know, I guess whatever Chase wants. But
I do have to say this. Stan loves when Chase goes to race with us because he knows he's going to get all of his favorite foods. Because whatever Chase wants, he gets.
I don't mind being second seat. I really don't. I'm good with that. You know?
how it is with motherhood. Stan,
Yeah, right.
yeah, that's just the way it is. Moms, you know, moms love their kids. Simple as that.
Yeah, Joe. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I'll see you literally in hours. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming on WFO Radio. First time, but not the last. You know, we can make an appointment for next week if you want. You just got to go out and you got to
go ahead and schedule that. Go ahead and schedule that because me and Wally
all
will
right.
be back.
You know how it works. You know how it works. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stan and Sheila Holt with us here on WFO Radio. How great was that? This has been a pretty good show. this has been a pretty good example of what WFO can be about. I encourage you to subscribe, click the bell if you're watching on YouTube or, social media, WFO Radio, WFO Joe. I got so many different things that I'm posting to all the time. You should be able to easily find one, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcast. All right, let's get some final comments in the comment section, guys, like your thoughts on the weekend. I do want to mention a friend of mine who is a comp racer, Ed Fetterkyle, has got a cool thing going on this weekend. He'll be out there this weekend, and he's doing an assistance for the folks at Tunnel to Towers. It's a foundation for over 20 years. Tunnel to Towers has helped our nation's military members and first responders by providing these heroes and their families with mortgage-free homes. So when you're going to see Fetterkyle out there on track, he'll be racing for the folks at Tunnel to Towers, and got a lot of pub with it too. Good job, Fast Eddie from South Florida. He is a Fort Lauderdale, Florida guy, and Ed and I bracket raced with and around and against each other at Miami Hollywood Speedway. And now he's out there running comp and doing a great job. All right, put your comments in the comments section, guys. Yeah, you're going to see Sheila out there not long from now. It's going to be very cool. Paul Lee was fantastic. A lot of great comments. Shout out to the folks at VP. Freddie going to be joining us on the show. VPRacingFuels.com. What you need to do is go to the website, VP Racing Fuels, and they give you one of those sign up for the newsletter kind of thing. We encourage you to do that. Sign up for the newsletter for VPRacingFuels.com. Thanks to the folks at VP. Also, FTI Performance Transmissions. That is one of the Paul Lee companies. Just spoke with Troy Williams before the show. And we're going to speak with the guys at VP because it's about education, right? Like if you are a .90 racer and you're not using FTI Performance, like Spencer Massey, Kevin Brannon, the final round of the million. Kevin Brannon is an FTI driver, but was in a borrowed car. So, but his own stuff, Brannon, he's FTI all the way, right? I reached out to Ivy. She's like, all the way, FTI. And it has been amazing to see how many cars that go to the finals at these big money races and .90 races are running FTI. But it's not just those. It's Pro Modified, it's Top Dragster, it's Top Sportsman, located in DeLand, Florida. Check them out, FTI Performance Transmissions. PhillipsConnect.com, Phillips-Connect.com. For those of you in the trailer enterprise, definitely want to check out some of their sensors and parts and pieces that they have to make your vehicles and over-the-road safer. Total Seal Piston Rings. There is a new episode of Hidden Horsepower up right now. Brand new episode featuring Greg Anderson. Greg Anderson is a pretty good racer. You might have heard of him. 5-time champ. Next win will be his 100th Pro Stock win. How did he get here? Where did he learn all this stuff? Was he an engine guy from the begin with? And the answer is no. He had to learn the engine trade. Talks a little bit about Warren Johnson and the time spent there with WJ and working in Minnesota. Go check it out, the podcast. Total Seal, Hidden Horsepower. You will enjoy it. Mentioned FTI, VP, Phillips, and then there's samtech.edu, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, and Marvin Rodak. These are the people who make it possible, but not just them. The Patreons have become a larger and larger group on WFO Radio. The Patreons. It's amazing. The people who have stepped up to just support. They don't have to. It's totally optional. They get a little something each week. They get to participate in the Ignition show, and they get to get Monday Motivation, where they didn't get one this week, though, because I was coming back from LA, but it's not over yet. They might get one here today, Wednesday Motivation. But if you want to join the VIP Listener Club, go to WFOradio.com or patreon.com/WFO Radio and check it out. And you don't have to. But if you want to for a while, you certainly are welcome to. And there have been so many people. You can also go to the website, get some free WFO Radio stickers like this one on Hartford's car, defending race winner, Matt Hartford. Going to be very interesting to see how that all plays out. And remember, we've got a WFO store where you can get shirts and mugs and sweatshirts and all of this different stuff. We've even got some new designs up there. So go check them out on WFOradio.com. One thing that you're probably not going to be buying anymore are the WFO masks. I still got some, and I'm going to keep them around just in case. But that's kind of good news. I see everybody celebrating the return to normalcy. What else is there? We're pretty much back. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. All right, let's see what the final comments are in the comment section before we bounce on out of here. Final show of the week here, guys, just so you know. Paul Lee was amazing. Yesterday on with Alan, everybody gave their predictions. A lot of Tony Schumacher, a lot of Erica Enders. Those were the overwhelming winners in terms of predictions. Everything else kind of was tough. All right, let's see. Going back up to the deal. John was saying good luck this weekend. Billy, what ET got to that one? 690s, baby, bad to the bone. Do I need to stay until Sunday to help load all the 5 Wallies? I wish I knew who that was. The answer is probably yes. You got to stay, man. Can you imagine? I love Pro Stock, but look out, Big 3 support. Hopefully. Thanks, guys. Great show. Great show, Joe. Great guests. Thank you. Try real hard. And, you know, if you don't want to become a Patreon, but you want to support the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. Our sponsors, like the day you decide to drive a dragster, call Frank Hawley. The day you need a performance transmission or clutch, call Paul Lee. You need rings, call Total Seal. You may need coffee, call Marvin Rodak. But also, you can share the show. Just share the show on your social media. Tell your friends about the show. It's a podcast. It's a live stream. You can get it anywhere we interview drag racers. It's longer form. It's longer for a reason. I come out of the talk radio background. I want to really dig in deep. These little 3-minute things that everybody's doing on social media, because in the world, nobody has an attention span and no one can waste any more than 3 minutes. And I totally get it, right? But you can only get so much out of 3 minutes. You're not really going to get to know people in 3 minutes. Even in 3 separate 3-minute interviews, you're just not going to be able to do it. It just doesn't work that way. There's got to be something for people who want to invest a little bit more time. And that's what this is. That is what this is. They're a little longer. You might have to listen in sections. You might have to jump ahead to something you want to know about, but share the show. Jim says that was fun. It was. Steve Renwald from Competition Plus. Erica to throw out the first pitch at the Astros game tonight. Say what? That would be super cool. It's not that I'm angry at Courtney Enders for not telling me about it. Here we go. This is what we can do. Oh, this was just posted at 11:05. Okay, Erica Enders, the 4-time Pro Stock champion, is out to prove she's got what it takes to drive her Chevrolet across the Houston. This is okay. The Houston native will get the opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Astros game as the team dons their new Space City uniforms. It's no secret that I bleed Houston, Texas, says Erica. I was born and raised there. No matter how much I travel and work, home is always where the heart is. To be asked by the Houston Astros organization to throw out their first pitch in my hometown for my favorite baseball team is surreal. Wow. Baseball is one sport of, Bobby, listen, who wrote this? It doesn't say. Maybe a press release. Baseball is one sport I've never played. And with recent elbow surgery, I'm not making any fast pitch promises, she said with a laugh. I'm honored. To say I'm honored is an understatement. And this is definitely a huge pinch me moment for me. This will be a great way to kick off what I hopefully be a winning weekend for us and the Stros. I can't wait to share this moment with my family. That is so great for Erica. And as a New York Yankee fan, I am going to choose. This is what I am going to not feel any negative thoughts about this at all. Pure positivity. Erica and the Astros going out there, drag racing, throwing out the first pitch. And I think Erica's going to get it in there. I think she's going to throw a strike. Thank you, Steve Brenwald. That's exactly what virtual producers are supposed to do. Excellent work. Remind me, the eliminations racing at Houston, what does that mean? Remind me, the eliminations racing at Houston this weekend. I don't know. I'll let you know when it's happening, right? That's starting off 9:30 Friday morning. Great show today. Awesome show. Don't always get to tune in, though. That's all right, Jason. Just share it. Just share it. You can't, not everybody is available when the show is on, but the show is always available on WFOradio.com and our free mobile application, which is about to be updated. Awesome show. Safe travels. Great weekend. T. Thank you, Blake. I know what you're saying. Fun show today. Thank you, Blake. Wow. E. Yeah. No, that's a big deal, right? I'm an MLB guy. I'm a big Yankee fan. As you can see, the Astros have a particular annoyance in my heart because of what happened a few years back, with the garbage can and all that. Like, it felt a little dirty, right? Felt a little bit dirty. And I know people are like, well, everybody does dirty stuff, and maybe they do, but getting caught, that's the difference. But that's all in the past, right? It's all in the past. And I think this is going to be how I find forgiveness for the Astros. Giving Erica and NHRA Drag Racing the showcase. And I'm sure Courtney will do a great job of documenting. All right, guys, that's it. That's it for the week. WFO. Remember, in the past couple weeks, we've had Erica on the show. We've had Brittany Force on the show. We've had Ron Capps on the show. The Ignition shows have been great, a lot of fun. They're on YouTube, and they have showcased behind-the-scenes photographs from the Miami Formula One track. That's going to be pretty crazy. In a couple of weeks, Mother's Day weekend. So much content. Not to mention Factory Stock Podcast with Lenny Lodig, speaking of Factory Showdown, and Greg Anderson on Hidden Horsepower. We've been really rolling out a lot of content here on WFO Radio. And the show is growing, but we need to grow faster. And the only way we can grow faster is if the fans of the show realize that they have got a big part in this. That we don't have a budget. We're not a major corporation. We're just us. And anything you can do to tell somebody about the show is helpful. Derek, I was 20 minutes late. Got to swing back, start over. Patreons should never be late. Yeah, Derek, Patreons should never be late. Everyone have a great weekend in Houston. Safe travels, straight and fast passes. Way to go, Jeff. Thank you. I appreciate it. Paul Lee was awesome. And the guy, I didn't talk to him about, being a lawyer, getting a law degree. Next level drive, intensity, intelligence. I wish him the best. And Jason Bunker, Dustin Heim, team going to reset, going to rise like the Phoenix. And Stan and Sheila, Chase, and Jared, Kevin, and everybody that's involved with Team Lupe Tortilla. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us on this show. All right, guys, it's not too late. Get to Houston. Come hang out with us. We'll see you this weekend. Friday, 9:30, we'll be on the air. WFO.